Good afternoon, everybody.
Well, what can we tell you about our wonderful parents? It was astonishing to discover that once upon a time, they too had been quite trendy. Before we were born, back in 1964, take Daddy. He had a passion for open-topped sports cars and cravats. Blonde, wavy hair, some of you may remember. Kind, charming blue eyes, and a bit of a snappy dresser. So, a dashing, successful, world-travelled shipbroker with a London Mews House residence, but ultimately a Surrey man at heart. He was an ace shot with a tennis racket and had a love of Goodwood racing. And, of course, an appreciation of beautiful women.
Mummy, of Isle of Wight heritage, but brought up under the African sun in both South Africa and what was then known as Rhodesia. She had an athletic ability to outswim most at front crawl and a secret passion and talent for crossword puzzles. She was also a kind and caring, trained Tommy's Nightingale nurse. More of that later. By nature a quiet person, but she knew how to drive a car like a racing car, and was subsequently known by Pa as RBO, Racing Blonde of Oxshott. Allegedly taking a corner in front of the Houses of Parliament so fast in the rain, she achieved a 360-degree spin.
These two gorgeous, blue-eyed, blonde youngsters found they had a lot in common. Organisation. Both are extremely well organised and like nothing better than a good list and an efficient system for doing everything. We quickly learned that there was a place for everything, and woe betides you for putting anything back in the wrong place. Daddy has a vast collection of multi-pocketed waistcoats to keep all his necessary bits and pieces organised. And Mummy coordinates her wardrobe in neatly hung, varying shades of blue. And keeps a mass of used envelopes on which to write her lists.
Comfort. Both are partial to a bit of luxury. On arrival at most hotels, they are unlikely to accept the first room offered to them without inspecting all the others for comparable comfort. Mummy never stays in a room without an ensuite bath. Showers have never been an option. Kindness. They are both exceptionally kind and empathetic people. They are always concerned about the welfare of those around them and of other people in general, and go out of their way to help when they can. For example, Mummy has helped at Riding for the Disabled for over 35 years.
Humour. Both are still young at heart and quick-witted. They laugh a lot and have great senses of humour, even though Jack does find the confluence of the Maelstrom and Roberton humour a shade too lavatorial for his taste. We are reminded of an incident on Oxshott Common when Mummy encountered a flasher. On being flashed the goods, Mummy calmly responded, "Is that all?" and continued on her way. Family and friendship. They are both hugely family-orientated, and we have been blessed with two very dedicated and supportive parents, as well as a battalion of cousins, aunts, and uncles to grow up with. They are both extremely loyal and dependable and have many wonderful long-term friendships, as we can see here today.
Now, coming on to the differences. Risk. Pa is very risk averse and leaves nothing to chance. He is a belt and braces man, both metaphorically and literally. Never knowingly travelling in July without a spade in the boot of the car in case of a snowdrift. Mummy, however, will often throw caution to the wind and would still happily dive off a boat into the sea. Health. Mummy has occasionally known to be under the weather, but certainly wouldn't complain about it. Pa, on the other hand, is never ill, and as such is never in the need of close care, medical attention, or medication. Despite this inbuilt hardiness, he has somehow managed to amass an encyclopedic knowledge of the more common ailments and has firmly established himself as the foremost advisor to the medical profession in Surrey for the last 40 years. However, given our father's risk-averse nature, he would have been acutely aware of the benefit of having a medical professional close to hand. Just in case, you see. And so it was back in April 1964 that he was presented to a fit, bright blonde who was not only a nurse, but was a Tommy's Nightingale who had nursed Sir Winston Churchill. This was too good an opportunity to miss. Stuart knew the search was finally over.
Bargains and mathematics. A bargain is something that Daddy cannot live without. For example, he will religiously spend hours trying to get another 10% off a dishwasher that has already been discounted by 50% in a sale. Invariably, he wins, much to the resignation of the exhausted sales assistant, who is left contemplating a career change. Mummy, on the other hand, is mortified by any form of haggling over price, a most undignified activity. It goes without saying that Mummy left all the accounts to Daddy, regularly declaring that she doesn't do maths. Property acquisition. Daddy liked the idea of acquiring a foreign property. Mummy could think of nothing worse. On countless holidays abroad, Daddy spent hours chatting up local estate agents and flirting with the concept of buying, while Mummy endured these charades.
So, what was it like growing up? Well, in a word, it was bliss. Victoria and I were fortunate to grow up in this lovely house and to play in this lovely garden. We have very strong memories of blissful summer days spent playing in the garden and in the paddling pool. We had swings, aerial slide, trampoline, football goals, cricket nets, and in 1976, a real swimming pool. Our birthday parties in June and July were the envy of all our friends, and the infamous assault courses painstakingly put together, Englefield's own version of It's a Knockout. We did not go short of exotic holidays, including Greek islands, the Balearics, Africa, and of course Hong Kong, to stay with John and Virginia. We also had some blissful teenage holidays in Rock in Cornwall, and it was here, on being let loose with other adolescents, that I think we tested our parents' patience to the full. We also had many memorable skiing holidays, including Alpe d'Huez with the Rimmers, Courchevel with the Rivers, and St Christophe with the Proctors. I'm delighted to say that the holidaying has continued with the addition of the next generation, and as a wider family we have enjoyed fantastic trips to Saint-Tropez, Klosters, Zermatt, Corfu, Krakow and Berlin. School, by comparison, seemed rather a drag to both of us. Apparently, neither of us was the perfect student. Whilst we were not the naughtiest in the school, our school days did not go without incident. Fortunately, our parents seemed to take these incidents in their stride, if not finding them rather amusing. Of course, I was much better than Victoria at not being caught. Leading her housemistress's report on her final term amounting to a single line: "One of us has to go." They were both very active parents, Daddy playing Father Christmas at Felton Fleet, Mummy attending more cricket matches than any other parent in history. And of course, it is through Felton Fleet, Cranley, St Michael's and Canford that they have developed so many close friends.
Boats and water. So their mutual love of the sea led them to purchase a share in a small yacht in the 1970s called Nipper. The boat was kept at the Hamble. We spent some hairy weekends on the Solent trying to avoid being run down by the QE2 while sailing to our grandfather's house in Cowes. William developed his love of sailing from these experiences, whilst I developed a deep understanding of seasickness. At last, after many years searching abroad, they settled on the perfect holiday house, by the sea in Cowes. Tanglin has added a fabulous new dimension to their time, giving them the opportunity to entertain friends and family next to the backdrop of a constant changing scenery on the Solent. Daddy can inspect all the tankers and cargo vessels leaving Southampton, and Mummy can keep tabs on the Queen Mary and the classic yachts. The addition of 3 wonderful grandchildren has brought them an enormous amount of pleasure. They love being grandparents, and it cannot be overstated how immensely proud they are of their grandchildren. They are dedicated and very active grandparents, and have always been there to help out when necessary, and always in attendance for all birthday parties and at every key school event. Most importantly, they have a deep, deep love for each other, and have demonstrated to us a very happy and committed marriage.
Our parents have given us so much, and the best start, so much support, and the best start in life, and Victoria and I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you for, well, everything, and thank you for being such amazing parents and such wonderful grandparents. It has been a lot of fun, and long may it continue. Happy 50th wedding anniversary. Stuart and Judith.
Good.